when we do start to. Seventh 2023 meeting of the West Haven ARPA Committee will now come to order. Will each member, paid professional, and city official please state your name for the record? Ken Carney.
Dwight Knowles.
Ken Ferret.
Iris Diaz.
Gary Furto.
Iris Diaz.
Rohan Smith.
Each member has received a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? If none, the agenda stands. I'm going to ask for a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Tonight, when you make a motion, just state your name. It'll be easier for Dwight to follow up on that.
And second it. If you can motion with your name, and when you second it, your name. Only because the camera doesn't pick it up.
Okay. Go to page 12 of 71. General report. So I want to bring to everybody's attention that the city is utilizing a PO system versus a voucher system. I've been here since 2005, and only recently, with this current group of financial people, have they implemented a full PO system. Under the old system, you would get a voucher, and you would try to get a vendor paid with the voucher, and they'd have to do the research once they got the voucher. Does he have insurance? Did it go out to bid? Is there a bond? Has he already been paid? Is the number correct? Once you get a PO is generated after all that information is collected, And if you look on page 12, this is the new vendor checklist. So every time a vendor in the city utilizes ARPA funds, they go through this checklist, and I believe the city is now taking this checklist and utilizing it citywide, or starting to. So the first thing that we have on this checklist is it gives the name of the project, the expenditure category, the name of the vendor and how much that vendor is going to be paid over the course of the job. Did it meet the city procurement requirements? There's a check. In this case, the answer is yes. And then you have to check off which category represents the vehicle that it went out to bid. If it was less than 2,500, it requires no competitive bidding. If it's between 2,500 and 10,000, 3 written proposals are required, and we have to see those. Over 10,000, it goes to full advertisement. In this case, over 10,000 is checked off. Then there's an explanation. In this case, the explanation discusses the ARPA funding, the project number, and the fact that it was approved by MARB. MARB requires approving anything over 50,000. The next question is the contractor contact information. That's checked off. And all of that is below item number 2. Item 3 is contract compliant with ARPA and other federal funding requirements. In this case, ARPA requirements, yes. Telecom prohibitions, yes. Build America, Buy America, yes. So all that has been researched and was issued before the PO, or was discovered before the PO was even issued. Item 4 is completed city ethics form delivered by contractor. In this case, yes. Item 5 is a W-9 submitted by the contractor, yes. Proposed final contract documents discussed with and acceptable to the city. The answer is yes. Final contract documents approved as to form. That's the attorney saying yes. Item 8, final contract document executed in duplicate by authorized signature of contractor. Number 9, final contract document executed in duplicate by the mayor. Item 10, 1 hard copy set of executed contract documents delivered to the contractor. Item 11, 1 hard copy set of executed contract documents filed by the city. And number 12, 1 electronic set of executed documents filed by city. We attach this to the actual contract that the vendor has, which is born out of this checklist, if you will. And then, when it comes time to get paid, we simply reference a PO. So in the case of ARPA, I will write a letter based on this committee approving an invoice, and I will now insert the PO number, and all this is on file. And we're finding that vendors are now getting paid in less than 2 weeks. So we've gone from a purchase, a payment voucher, to an actual PO system. It's working very well. It's very professional. Everything is being calculated. All the ARPA stipulations are here, and it's going very, very well. Okay, so I'm seeing a big change here in the city. Any questions on that? All right, next I'm going to go down the actual project list. If you go to page 13, there's the list. And just to sort of go over this list, if you notice to the right, there are some yellow categories, and that's called discretionary spending. So ARPA allows us to take the first $10 million and spend it without putting it in a particular category. We have filled that bucket up to the tune of 9.3 million, almost 9.4 million right now. Once something does not make that discretionary bucket, then you have to have an ARPA reason, if you will, or a reason within the ARPA documents to do it, and that gets more challenging. Basically, you're limited to HVAC, you're limited to sewer, drain work, you're limited to creating a healthier environment for employees and citizens, and it takes some work to have these projects work into those categories. And we've done, a pretty good job so far of this. But if you notice, if we don't spend the money quickly, the idea that we're just gonna pave streets is not a viable option, because paving would fall under discretionary, and there's not enough room in the discretionary bucket to do paving. So we really have to do our best to spend as much money as possible in the near future in order to achieve spending all this money by the deadline. Any questions on that? All right, so with that, I'm going to run down the list here. I'm going to start with the CARES Act, project number 2022001. I do have an invoice from Carmody, invoice number 533052, in the amount of $13,280. Do I have a motion to approve that invoice?
Dwight, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Aristides, second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next, we go to item 2, which is on page 19. This is Jow Films invoice 1100 in the amount of 300. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, do I have a second?
Dwight, second.
All right, and any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's JOW, yep. If you need me to slow down, Rohan, just tell me and I'll, okay, you pass them around? Okay. Next, we have the Child Development Center roof. That design work is now complete, and we are chasing an HVAC vendor to, I should say, design consultant to design the new RTU for the rooftop for HVAC. And once we have that, we will put the roof and the RTU out to bid.
So, explain that to me, Ken.
Sure.
I mean, I replace RTUs every year. I don't need a designer or an engineer.
You do in this case, because we're replacing 22-year-old unit. We have to prove that there's no asbestos. We have to deal with the weight of it on the roof. We have to coordinate it with the new code, with the insulation on the roof, which means a whole curb's gotta be designed. A lot of complexity there. And then part of the ARPA spending is to have ultraviolet cleaning of the air in the RTU. It's gotta be designed. Yeah.
I'm not gonna design the RTU. What's he?
No, he's gonna design he's gonna pick the RTU, tell us the size, and design the installation. Not a big job, by the way. Next, we have Parks Fund. And I do have, if you go to page 20, you will see an update from Ernie Torelli on things that are happening across the city on parks with ARPA funds, and that report goes all the way to page 31. And this is a detail of what he's working on. Now, we are paying him out of ARPA funds to do this work, and these are the reports that I request to know what he's doing. And I get, I'm on the phone with this guy every day. The guy works more hours than we pay him for. But these reports sort of show that.
What page we on?
Page 20 through page 31. Next, I have, on page 32, I have the Hubbard Park concrete ramps. So this is a sidewalk and ramp that went into Hubbard Park. It used to be you would pull into the parking lot at Hubbard Park, and you walked across muck to get to these very nice raised decks, if you will, walkways that brought you around the park. Anyone in a wheelchair couldn't make that trek. With the installation of these sidewalks, you can come out of your car, you're not on muck anymore, you're not on ground, you're on a sidewalk, and as you get closer to these raised walkways, the sidewalk ramps up, so you can easily make it onto the platform and move around this park by yourself if you're in a wheelchair. So this came in at $20,884.96. This is done. I did go out and inspect it. I do have a PO for it, and I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Dwight, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Ken, second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is that connected to the school back?
No.
They closed the fence on that?
Oh, I can tell you the sidewalk's not connected to the school. You could probably get to the Pagel School from the back of the park, but I think that's all brush right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Next, I have the Shingle Hill Park, yes,
For this,
for that one?
yes.
Make a note of it on the file, and I'll get one for next month. Next, I have
Shingle Hill?
Shingle Hill, in the amount of $4,950. And this one was, to remove a bunch of brush, cut things down, and spread piles of wood chip to make a pathway. This was, a low bid situation for $49.50. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Smith
Dwight.
make a motion to approve?
I'll go Dwight first, Rohan second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next I have, let me just see what the right one here, hold on.
Veterans.
Yeah, I got Don's Landscaping on page 37. This, what they had done is they put several areas out, several parks out to bid to have brush removed, chips installed, and not one vendor got all the parks. So a variety of vendors got different parks based on their price. So this one was Don's Landscaping and Tree Service for $49.50. And this one was at Veterans Memorial Fields. No, I'm sorry, this was at Shingle Hill Park. Did we just do that one?
We did that one.
This is at Veterans.
Veterans.
Is it right, though?
Yeah.
No, I think the POs are mixed up. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Give me 1 second, guys, I apologize. All right, so we did the 20,000. Did we do the 49.50? Is that done?
49.
Shingle, did we approve that one? For Don's Landscaping?
Yes,
Okay.
that was approved.
All right, so that goes, so that encompasses page 37 and 38, and that brings us to page 39. And this one is Shingle Hill Park, no, Veterans Memorial Park for
Park.
$24.35.
Yep.
So this was landscaping work, resurfacing with stone dust, removing some equipment that's no longer used, and 4 yards of concrete sand, $2,435. Do I have a motion to approve? And there are pictures here of this work, by the way. If you go to 42 and 43, you'll see some pictures. All cleaned up. Do you have a motion to approve this one?
Iris Diaz.
Okay. Chris, you'll be second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries. All right, we've also got Tile Street PO. This is with Stump Choppers. And this again was cleaning up, removing limbs, removing brush. This is $24.50, $2,450. Do you have a motion to approve?
Dwight, motion to approve.
Ken, second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
again, none of these that you're going over, there's no waivers.
Just make a list and I'll
Okay.
I'll get them for you. Thank you for keeping track of that. All right, next we have the childscapes, or the playscapes, I should say,
Paint a park.
that was bid on by Painter Park from Creative Recreation and Childscapes. So I sat down, did some deep diving. It turns out that Creative does not have in their contract demo, old and remove, site preparation, concrete, prevailing wage, dispose of excavated material, and fabric. I don't see that in their proposal. I did reach out to them, they have not called me back. They came in at $84,568. Childscapes, who is also on the state bid list, comparing apples to apples, which included all of that, came in at $83,629. So they are definitely the low bidder, not just in price, but with the scope that they're giving us. So I'd like to get these two playscapes approved and get them going on that for Painter Park. Do you have a motion to approve Childscapes at $83,629?
Rohan Smith make a motion to approve Childscape.
Now, that number is different than the number on your agenda, because there's a typo there. So it's $83,629, and we have a motion. Do you have a second?
I second Iris Diaz.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay,
Explaining the difference in the dollars, 83,629 versus 89,629.
the typo.
Okay,
Yeah, we've typed it wrong on the,
all right.
okay, next, if you go to, actually go to the food bank, I'll bring that to your attention now. So the Board of Ed has been fully funded, the $100,000. They're using it for food pantries throughout their high school, middle school, and elementary schools. First, the other recipients have met with the attorney and the accounting firm for their risk assessment. We've gathered their information, and they are about to start spending their funds. We also put out to bid a second round, which we do not have funding for presently, but I plan on going back to the council to get funding, and First Lutheran Church, through Project Hope, put in an application, which you'll have next month. The West Haven Community House put in an application, and Wheat put it in an application, all three who missed the first round. So I'm gonna go back to the city council, their applications add up to just under 200,000, if I remember correctly. I'll go back to the city council, see if they have an appetite, no pun intended, to, give us more money, and then we will have a meeting here and award it the way you guys wanna award it. Any questions on that?
And the original ones that we interviewed, are
They
they part of
can't-
it?
They can't do a second round. They've already been awarded,
All right.
so we're not letting them apply again. Any questions on that one? Okay, moving on to project 2022005, Johnson Senior Center. We actually met with the architects today for a kickoff. We walked the property with the administrator of that building, maintenance, and Beth Sabo, and the two architects. And the architects are now in design stage. I asked them to break it up between the elevator work, the bathroom work, the cabinet work, the awning work, separate that from the paint work, and get the painting out to bid much sooner, and they agreed to do that. And there's also ceiling tiles we have to replace, but sort of treat it as two different bids to get it moving a little bit quicker.
That Sabo is involved with this?
Yes.
What's her connection? I'm not, she's
Um,
in personnel now.
Yeah, well, she runs a lot of programs in town and volunteers, and they're moving the West Haven Museum, the Savin Rock Museum, to the Noble Community Center.
Okay,
So she's coordinating that.
gotcha.
Any questions on Johnston Senior Center? Okay, next we go to stormwater management. Number one, I called the vac truck guys. They're threatening to deliver the vac truck the first week of April, which is a little bit behind what they said originally, but not too bad. Stormwater Management Grant Matching Fund, there has been several disbursements of funds out of this to the grant department to go out and get larger grants, which was always the plan. And then we have the 1.4 million, which is used to do repairs around the city for stormwater and drainage. That bucket of money also includes the purchase of what you approved last month, which is the backhoe. And that has not been secured yet, but it will be in the next few days. The work that's being done, this special project work, was done at Peterson Field, Knox Street, Morgan Lane, Dogwood Road, and another Knox Street storm drain job as opposed to sewer work. And these are the reimbursements costs for the personnel to do the job. Now, there's 10 more of these. They haven't gotten me the reports yet, but behind each of these fees is a typed report with several pictures. And I don't think I included one in your packet. They're pretty large. So I'm asking for a motion to approve $1,148 for Peterson Field, $478 for Knox Street sewer easement clearing, $957 for Morgan Lane storm easement, $478.50 for 65 Dogwood Road, and $765.60 for Knox Street storm drainage. And that's all on page 64.
And that's gonna be transferred to Public Works?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve, Dwight.
Do I have a second?
Rohan, second motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do I have discussion? Go ahead, Ken. You have a question?
Who's
No, I
approving?
was gonna say,
Okay.
we seconded it.
Anybody have any questions or discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The Recycling Center, which is Project 011, I don't have a good handle on. I will get some information from Doug and get back to you. Doug is retiring as of March 15th, so I have a meeting with him set up to get that information. Next, I got the broadband access library, project number 13. That is ongoing. I have not seen a bill recently, but it's ongoing. Next, I have the City Hall window, project number 14. So we met with the designers on site here this week. We walked the entire building. We identified 3 different type of window details. We also discussed the windows in this room having to be broken up into 2 separate kinds of windows because of the size of the windows. And it looks like they're gonna consider removing the window, putting in a pressure-treated 2x around the jamb, flashing the sill, and putting in a new construction, high-end vinyl window, double hung. And that's, I think, what they're gonna end up speccing. So they're working on that design now.
Energy efficient.
Next, we have projects 15, 16, and 17, which are all fire districts. And we do have an invoice for West Shore in the amount of $1,740. And that can be found on page 65. And this is for design work, for the design they're doing to spend their bucket of money. Do I have a motion to approve the invoice for Antonazzi for $1,740?
Iris Diaz, I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Rohan Smith, second motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Any questions on the fire districts? Next, we have the boardwalk monitoring cameras. That bid is complete. We had 2 meetings with the police, the chief and their personnel. And this is quite a program. These are cameras that allow you to pre-program license plates that you're looking for into the camera. And if the car drives by, it sends the police an email saying, we found your car. If they're looking for a suspect, all you have to do is type into the program a brief description, red hat, gray jacket, and everybody with red hat and gray jacket pops up immediately. You don't have to search for hours. This also comes with call stations that will be along the beach. You hit the call station and someone at 911 picks up immediately. And once you hit the call station, the camera focuses on that particular person hitting the call station. So I think it's gonna be a great program, and the police are certainly happy about it, and that is ready to go out to bid. Any questions on that? Next, we got the field house, Project 21 at Painter Park. That is in design, and I'll be working with Mark Payne on that, Commissioner of Parks. Next, we have Project,
Excuse me.
yep.
Are we supposed to make a motion?
Oh, you make the motion for the,
The 48.
48,000?
225.
which one is that?
That was for the police protection blueprint.
We didn't get there yet.
Oh, okay.
We're on Painter Park, 2022-21.
Okay.
I think that's the next one in the book, but not the next one on the agenda, right?
Right.
Okay. So, next we have the EMS premium pay. I know UHY is still collecting information, and that's something that I guess Marb has to approve. We've already approved that. The police, bulletproof vests and, helmets. So, this is an expenditure that's been approved by the ARPA committee. If you turn the page, you go to 67. This is the equipment. So I went down to the firehouse. I took pictures of all the equipment. It's all there. I inventoried it. And it's exactly what we ordered. The helmet is incredibly durable. You could hit it point blank with a gun and it bounces off. The vest actually absorbs the bullet, condenses it, and protects the person wearing the vest. And the vests are super lightweight. Really amazing equipment. So I'm gonna say that I inspected it and it's all there. Do I have a motion to approve invoice 43539 for $48,225 for the gear, the bulletproof gear?
Motion to approve, Dwight?
Iris Diaz, second.
Any discussion?
No grenade launchers?
No great knowledge. This is strictly defensive, not offensive.
This is for SWAT or something?
No, this is for EMS. So what they're saying is that if there is a shooter situation and there's somebody bleeding on the sidewalk or street, God forbid, EMS cannot respond during the shooting. With this gear, they can go in during an active shooter situation and attend to that person.
Yeah, with that gear, they're still not gonna respond.
Okay. We'll see. So, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next we have the gas mask, Project 03 and 23. Those are still in production. Project number 4 is camera and sound for meeting rooms. So we actually met and 4 bidders showed up this time. We did a walkthrough and we discussed doing this room, council chambers, and the 3rd floor conference room, and loaded up with cameras that the council can use when they want to use. So we're waiting for those bids to come back, and I forget what day they're coming back, but I think it's the end of March sometime. So I'll keep you updated. Any questions on that one? Next, I have the Project 5, the demolition of Beach Street Skate Park. That has been completed, and that invoice was approved, needs to be approved for processing. And that is on page 71. So if you remember, this went out to public bid. If you look at the pictures, you'll see the next 2 pages, 72 and 73. That is pictures of the skate park removed, or what it looks like when the skate park is removed. And I have an invoice with a PO number in the amount of $23,525 for Cirilli Construction. Do I have a motion to approve?
Rohan Smith, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Iris Diaz.
Any discussion on that one?
Just out of curiosity,
No.
it looks like they left the fence up.
Am I looking at the right?
That's the fence that, yes.
Do they have any plan for that, or?
My understanding is that's gonna be the laydown area for the equipment to raise Beach Street.
Oh, I think
Yeah. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next I have the Housing Crisis Grant Fund. That was a $350 spend under project number 6. The attorney is working on a contract for that as we speak. That's a sub-recipient contract. Once that is finalized, we will start getting monthly invoices from Columbus House, and we'll approve them for payment. Project 7, Haley School Ramp, I have nothing on for you tonight. 08 is Project 8 is the West Haven Turf Field and Track. Those contracts are under negotiation right now between KBA's attorney and the city's attorney. Savin Rock Playscape and Groundscape. The procurement is complete on that, but we're waiting for warmer weather. They have to replace some equipment and paint a groundscape at Savin Rock. Next, we have Project 11, which is $100,000 for electrical work to main breakers and circuits in city buildings. My understanding is they're putting that out to bid now. We'll look at those bids and get a bill at some point. Kerrigan Boilers is in design. That's a $2.1 million spend that came off of bonding. And emergency bleacher repair, I believe there is a procurement achieved for that, and that should happen soon. Any questions on any of the projects we talked about tonight? Anybody? Okay. Is there any new business from any member of the committee? Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next month.
Good meeting,
Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you.